liquidity engineering. So that's how we use the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering to make money. So secondly, let's look at the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering. Secondly, lower time frame normal liquidity engineering. So how do you use the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering? So now, like I said, the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering, lower time frame normal liquidity engineering is used for entry confirmations. It's using for entry confirmations and more, and sometimes more refinements. So how do we use the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering? So this is how the lower time frame, they resemble the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering by the differ in use. So this is for the bearish side. Price performs a break, and this is our vehicle market structure here, and we take entry based on this level. This is where the entry happens from, and this is for the bullish scenario. This is a lower time frame normal liquidity engineering. So the entry is based here. So now, so far what we have learned, let's assume that we learned about the structure based time. We heard about the structure based direction bias and the time based direction bias. Now I said when we're using this structure based, that's where we use a normal area of liquidity based on V to V violation, and in violation this is a validation. Okay, I said when we're using the when we are using the structure based, we come and look for the liquidity engineering that is going to happen from that level here. Remember, when the price is approaching this level here, before this drop, it moves something like this. So wait for price to return to this level and then sell massively. So when I say the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering are used for entry confirmations, what do I mean? So let's assume that we had this as the area of liquidity. Now I'm now talking about the time based, because I told you that the time based we always deal with let's assume that price, I told you on the time based we always deal with the areas of liquidity, or the normal areas of liquidity, and time frame coordinations. We always deal with confirmation. So now let's assume that this is a normal area of liquidity that we are having. Let's assume that that's the normal area of liquidity that we are having. So now this is a weekly time frame. So what we are going to do, for price to continue buying, we are going to wait for price to come in this. You're going to wait for price to come inside this area here. Okay, maybe we shall come and either wait for price to perform a shift point inside this level there. When price performs a shift point inside that level, this is where price performed a shift inside this weekly area of liquidity, because now this is a weekly area of liquidity. Okay, so price came inside the weekly area of liquidity, performed a shift from the 4-hour time frame. So after price performing a shift from the 4-hour time frame, price left DC, liquidity engineering, this area of liquidity from the 4-hour time frame. So we know that we can't enter directly. We can't enter directly from the 4-hour area of liquidity, but what we are going to do is we are going to go to the 30-minute and look for the liquidity engineering available in the. We are going to go to the 30-minute and look for the liquidity engineering available in the 4-hour area of liquidity. Now this is the 4-hour area of liquidity here. Okay, the 4-hour area of liquidity. We are going to go to the 30-minute and look for the available liquidity engineering. So you may be looking for available liquidity engineering from this level here. So how is it going to be looking? It's going to be looking like this: a shift from the 30-minute, a retest, and then price comes to enter that position, or wait for price to perform or wait for price to come inside that level, or wait for price to come inside the 4-hour area of liquidity, then go to the 30-minute and then go and get your lower time frame liquidity engineering. So it's always better to wait for. So the time frame that always provide lower time frame normal liquidity engineering is 30-minute, a 15-minute, 5-minute, a 3-minute, what else? 3-minute, a 1 hour. So these are the time frame that provide lower time frame normal liquidity engineering. Those are the time frames provided, and they are entry confirmations. They are used for entry confirmations. Now, when I say they are used for entry confirmations, we may be having areas of liquidity. So now this is for the bullish scenario. So now this is for the bullish scenario. Price performed a shift and left now this level here as the area of liquidity, and also as price was approaching the bullish scenario, price performed a shift point and left the inside. So now this is where price performed a shift point, and this is an inside formation. Price performed a shift point and left this as an inside formation. So price may leave the inside formation or outside formation, whatever case it's going to, whatever case it will print, we will still use it as. So price performed an area of liquidity. So what we're going to do now, let's assume now this is a weekly time frame. This is also a weekly time frame. So we are going to wait for price to come back to this area of liquidity and perform a shift point inside the area of liquidity. So when price performs a shift point, we are going to go now to the 4-hour and mark this area of liquidity. So when you go to the 4-hour and mark that, because now the shift must happen in the 4-hour time frame as price comes to the weekly area of liquidity. Now price performs a shift from the 4-hour and leaves the area of liquidity. So what we're going to do is we're going now to go to the 30-minute and look for the liquidity engineering that is going to happen from that level. The normal liquidity is going to happen from that, and take your entry based on that. Even in this scenario, or even in that case, you're going to wait for price to come this to perform a shift point from the 4-hour time frame, leave an area of liquidity. When price leaves an area of liquidity, you're going to go to the 30-minute and look for the lower time frame liquidity engineering, which is going to look for like, you take your entry from this level and put your stop loss 1 pip above this that high, or 2 pip above that high. So that's how we use the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering, the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering, and take money. So let's look at some example of the lower time frame normal liquidity engineering that we would have taken based on lower time frame. So we have Euro GBP. Was it Euro GBP? A pair with a nice example. It wasn't Euro GBP. It wasn't Euro GBP. So let me look for Nasdaq 100. That's 100. So now let me first delete everything so that I can explain everything better. So now we are on a weekly time frame here. We are on the weekly time frame here. Okay, let me first see. So another example of a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering is also this. Price performed a shift point here. So after price performing a shift point, price performed a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering by tapping on that level, and you can clearly see how price dropped. Let me first cut and I show you. So now this is a weekly time frame. This is higher time frame normal liquidity engineering are always giving high probability setup. You can clearly see, and then price dropped massively. You can clearly see how it dropped. So that's how things work. So let's look at how lower time frame normal liquidity engineering, like 2 to 3 examples, are used for entry confirmations. So now this is a normal area of liquidity from the weekly time frame. This is a normal area of liquidity from the weekly time frame. That's a normal area of liquidity from the weekly time frame. So we have to follow the time frame coordinations by going down to the 4-hour time frame. So we can actually use how can I explain it? We haven't started about agglomeration 1, but we shall get to use of this agglomeration 1. But now we can clearly see, now this is also an example of the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering by price coming and test this level. You can clearly see it's also an example of the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, and can clearly see how price rewarded. This is a higher time frame because it's a daily time frame. It's a 4-hour time frame. It's regarded as a higher time frame, and you can clearly see how price moved. So that's how things work on higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. But the main aim here is to look for the examples of so price had to come and fully consume this level here. Was it that level? Yeah, had to come and fully consume this level here. So what we did is now it had to come now to and look for the refinement from the 30 minute, because price didn't consume the area of liquidity fully, like I said. So having that, you'd have come to take your liquidity engineering from this level here. It would be this level. You can take your entry based from this level because it was supposed to be, but this is not a normal one because price closed with the week. But for a normal one, you would have marked this level here, or even this level is also markable, or this okay, you can mark this level from the red. Let me mark it red as the normal liquidity engineering, because price closed here with the closure and also performed a shift points. So we're going to take our entry based on that. We are going to take our entry based on that confirmations from the 4-hour time frame as our lower time frame normal liquidity engineering. So when you pay price, let's pay price and see. So price came sorry, I'm having some flu. So price had to come slowly by slowly. So price came and triggered that normal liquidity engineering from the lower time frame, and triggered and gave this sniper entry with a zero drawdown, and then it moves. So that's how price moves, forming something like that. Meaning that whenever we're using a lower time frame normal liquidity engineering is always based on, when we are using the lower time frame normal liquidity, we must have a higher time frame area of liquidity, like this as the normal area of liquidity, because now we are going to take the entry based on the confirmation, like you saw this example as it was done. Okay, as you saw now how this example was done. So let's see if we have one more example. Let me see if this one. So this is also another example of the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, because price performed a closure here. The shift would have been here, but due to this week we have to mark this as our shift point, because now that this is where the low happened from, and then this could act as your higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. They always happen and they always give high probability setup. So let's look for more example of the normal liquidity engineering on the lower time frame. We also have this on gold. From this level here, it's acted as a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. From this level here, it acted as a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. You can clearly see, but let me check clearly on the daily time frame, because now you know how to find the normal one from there. Let me look for these value examples so that we can have. But if you are good in what you're doing, you can clearly spot them. This is also a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, whereby price closed here, came, will test that level and sold. So that's also a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, because now this is a daily time frame. The reward is always good. 6,000 pips after risking 800. 6,000 after risking 800, which is also good. So let's check this area of liquidity now. Let's check this area of liquidity now. Let me cut a bit. No, let me away. Okay, let's check this area of liquidity here. So now this is a normal area of liquidity, which is actually this one. This is a normal area of liquidity because price performed a shift point. Price performed a shift point here. Price performed a shift point there. So there, this acts as our outside formation. Have to mark the body and the low, like I told you when you're marking these, formations. Okay, so you had now to move the time frame that coordinates with the daily time frame, which is the daily time frame. So the daily time frame, you had to come and look for the normal liquidity engineering. Where would your normal liquidity engineering be? It would be at that level. It wouldn't be at this level, but it's going to be at this level here, because they are all laws that participated to the break. So you can clearly see the closure here and the closure body. All have body closures there. So you're going to enter position. You're going to enter from that level and put your stop loss 1 or 2 pip below this, because now this is your FMD. I told you when the level, the blue level that you use to take the entry is called the OTR. The OTR, or the overthrow, is the overthrow. It's abbreviated as the OTR. The area, that line for the entry is called it's called the OTR, not OTRX. and we fix it. And the level where I'll put your stop loss is called the FMD, or it's abbreviated as the further most deviation. Okay, there's a place where you put your stop loss. Now this is a lower time frame, normal liquidity engineering from the 1 hour time frame, and what we do is we put our stop loss based on that level, and then do. So this is just an example. We shall do the refinements, because sometimes the normal can turn into a reactive, but we shall see how to do it. So you had to mark that level there, and then wait for price to come to that normal liquidity engineering, test it. And here you see price tested that level, triggered, and gave a good amount of pips. It moved all the way from that level above. Actually had that buy, because now this is current price action. So you can case when you come out to the daily time frame, price performed in normal liquidity engineering. This is from that level, and you see it gave a good amount of pips. So those lower time frame normal liquidity engineering I used to get entry confirmations and how